Hey everybody, Lars here. You just read that splash page. I'm on the clock. I got to get this done in 10 minutes. I know. I hope I can do it, and it's tough for me because I like to gab. So I'm going to be talking. I'm wasting time as I'm talking to you right now, so I got to get going. I got to get coding. We got to make a temperature conversion program. I'm starting from scratch, and I'm starting with nothing. So I'm going to fire up Python. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to New File. And I'm going to bring my program over here. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, because I always do this, is I am going to do some comments. Now, what I usually do is a change conversion program where I take a stack of pennies and I tell you how many quarters and nickels and dimes, but I'm not going to do that this semester. I'm going to write a program to convert temperatures, and you will learn as we go through this class that I cannot spell my way out of a wet paper bag. All right, if I want to convert temperatures, if I have like a Celsius temperature and it's 100 and I want to know what the Fahrenheit value is, well, I want to do a conversion program so that I would enter that 100 as a Celsius value and then get, 212 or the boiling point of water for my Fahrenheit value. But I'm going to do both. If you have a Fahrenheit temperature, I'm going to allow the user to convert it to Celsius. And if you have a Celsius, I'm going to allow you to convert it to Fahrenheit. So right off the bat, I guess the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm on the clock, so I got to get going here, is I'm going to make a nice little line of asterisks. And then I'm going to print the temperature program. Look at that. Right size. All right, so that's going to print on the top of my screen. Special character \n is going to give me a blank line at the end, so I'm going to be in good shape. Now, what's the first thing I want to do with this program? It's the first bit of information that I'm going to need to get from the user. I'm going to need to find out what kind of temperature they have and what kind of conversion they want to do. So I am going to say scale, because I want to know what scale they're using. And I'm going to say input, enter the type of temperature you have. I don't know, result degree. Enter the type of temperature you have. Boom, boom, boom. All right, and then actually I'll tell the user what to enter. Either C or F. Notice what I'm doing? I am using single quotes in a string, but I can do that because I'm delimiting with doubles. I can't talk too much. I gotta get going. I'm also not casting because I want a string. All right, so I'm going to test that. Okay, so I run my program. Enter the type of temperature you have, C or F. So now I have a variable called scale, and it has a C or an F in it. Now, what am I going to do with that? That's going to help me determine, how I do my conversion. Because if I have a Celsius temperature, I want to make it Fahrenheit. If I have Fahrenheit, I want to make it Celsius. So we do not. We got to get cooking with gas here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do an if statement. If scale is equal to C, what does that mean? It means I have a Celsius temperature and I want to make it Fahrenheit. So what do I need to do here? They have the Celsius temperature, so I'm going to create a variable called sendTemp, and I am going to make sendTemp equal to float input. Please enter your Celsius value. All right, so now I have a variable called sendTemp. So I want to compute the Fahrenheit. And how do I do that? So if I have Celsius and I want the Fahrenheit value, I take the sendTemp. I multiply it by 1.8, and I add 32. Okay, and I'm going to leave a little comment at the end of here and say that 1.8 is what you're familiar when you look up conversion temperatures online. It's 9/5. So that's why I'm using 9/5 instead of doing the division and all of that. I'm just going to do that. Okay. So now I have the Fahrenheit. because I was given the Celsius. And do I need to print it or should I print it at the end? I'll print things at the end. So I'll say elif scale equals F. And I'll do the same thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to say copy, paste, and I'm just going to change some variable names around. Fahrenheit equals float. Please enter your Fahrenheit value. I hope I'm spelling these things right. And then I'm going to say send temp equals, and this is a completely different animal because we compute Celsius different. We have Fahrenheit, which is kind of the bigger, more bloated one. So what do I do when I do Fahrenheit? I'm going to group. You'll see why in a minute. I have the Fahrenheit. I want to group because I want to perform a subtraction first. I want to get rid of 32 degrees because I'm going backwards. Think about what I did before. Now I'm going backwards. But after I do that, I want to make it smaller still and multiply it by 0.5556. And you will see that I will let the programmer know that that is 5/9, okay? Which is the inverse of what you saw upstairs. Now, I will say else, and we know that else means you didn't put a C or you didn't put an F, so I will just print you need to enter a C or an F. So for the first time, you're seeing a little something we call error checking. Okay? If the user did not supply us with a C or an F like we used, we don't do anything. We just tell it, hey, you need to enter the right thing. And then the program's going to end. Actually, it's not going to end. It's going to print a couple things because we're doing good time-wise. I'm going to print the oh, I got to spell Celsius right. The Celsius value is, good Lord, is, and then I will print send temp. I don't need all of that, do I? Good enough. And then do that. Then I will highlight, copy, paste, just come down here and change the Fahrenheit value is Fahrenheit. All right. And then if I were 8 years old, I would say print the end, but I'm not going to do that now, although I do that in a lot of programs, because you learn how to write these toy programs. Sometimes you just print the end at the end. Until I ask the user what scale I want. It is a string. I then test that string for C. If I've told them I have Celsius temperature, I get the Celsius temperature. I store it as a float. I then use it in a formula to get the Fahrenheit temperature. If the scale is F, I do it backwards, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I hit S to save. Where am I going to put this? Don't answer that question. I know what you're thinking. Goodness gracious. How awful. All right. I already have one called temps. I will just overwrite it. I like my version of temps. Yes, I will replace it. Go ahead. All right, so to replace. So now I can just run it. And the temperature program, enter the type of temperature you have. I will say I have a Celsius temperature. Please enter my Celsius value. I will give it 100. Now, because I'm a simpleton, I'm going to use values where I know the answer on the other side. And this particular Fahrenheit should be 212 because it is the boiling point of water. So there we go. I've given it 100, and it said the Fahrenheit value was 212. All right, I'm in pretty good shape there. So let's go see if the other way works. I'm going to give it an F. Please enter your Fahrenheit value. I'm going to give it 32 degrees because I know that's when water freezes on the Fahrenheit scale. So on the Celsius scale, water should freeze at 0. Okay, so let's see what we get there. Look at that. So we see the Celsius value is 0 and the Fahrenheit value is 32. So we're in pretty good shape. Let's do a couple other things. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to say Z. And it's going to say, oh, dun, 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 dun. Ah, what happened? Was scale equal to C? No. elif. Was scale equal to F? No. Else, print, you need a C or an F. But I then try to use centemp and farentemp, but they were defined in code that wasn't run. So Python doesn't know what they are. So really, if I want to make that little component work, I should kind of do what us old schoolers used to call declaring our variables. And you can see if I want in Python, I can put two variables in a row and assign it to integers in a row, and that will work. So now if I run this program and I give it a Z, it tells me 0 and 0, because now they exist because I created them up there. I'm good. We solved a little problem along the way. All right, we're getting close. I think I started this video at 4:30. Oh, I think I'm at 10 minutes, so I have to get out of here. I'm going to save, and you can see here is temps.py. I am not going to put it on the web. You can look at this and you can code it up for yourself if you want, because it's nice and short. All right, there you go. In just 10 minutes, we used the input statement. We used the print function. The input function. We used scale. We made decisions with if and elif and else. We performed arithmetic and calculations. Okay? We're getting there. Really, the only thing we didn't do was booleans, but I think you got an okay handle on booleans, all right? So that's the temperature conversion program. We just started from scratch, and look, in only 10 minutes, we whipped up a decent little program that actually does something, right? That actually does some temperature conversions. So if it's 67 degrees out Fahrenheit, and you want to know what Celsius is, you can go ahead and do that. Actually, I do want to know what that is, because I don't. I have a Fahrenheit temperature. If it's 67 degrees, it is 19.5 Celsius. All right? So now we got that whole temperature conversion thing licked. We save this program. We'll have it forever. I promised 10 minutes, so I'm getting out of here. You be good, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I went 12 minutes. I should go back and change the thing. I won't, though. 12 minutes is enough.